The GMODIST. More GMODism.
Well, hello. This is your host Eric, and today on the Little GMODIST channel we're actually going to build a little thing for the GMODism main channel, which will be a little testing platform. So I'm gonna load my vehicle platform so we can have the preset colors here saved and all. So what we're basically going to do is I want a testing platform, a 6-axis type of platform that's just gonna go around and make well, testing easier of well, stuff in general. So it's not gonna be very advanced at all actually. The only thing I want is a big stable platform, and somehow I'm going to try and make this a, well, big reliable 6-axis platform that is kind of easy to move around and allows us to test all sorts of weapons and systems while controlling it using the keyboard control and well, basically that. So yeah, I'm gonna think a little bit of some different designs, and we're gonna see. I want to make it pretty thin as well, and it's gonna be an airborne platform, so that should be said. Right, so far I've come up with this little system here. We basically have a big board of heavy armor ducts, and then we have just a ton of propellers all along the way. And obviously, if you like place blocks and stuff here, we are gonna block some of the efficiency, I guess. Like, yeah. So that's like not optimal, but I'm also thinking that perhaps we can actually build a building like sheet above this thing, where we actually have oh wow, look at that, we actually have some free space in between there. That's cool. Anyways, I'm thinking we can kind of build some type of weird sub-object jank, so that we actually build on top of a board that is not directly attached to the propellers, and we may be able to trick them that they're not being blocked when we build above it. I'm not sure that's gonna work, but we'll find out soon enough. Now that I realized we actually have a like pattern where we may build, like now that's no ooh, look at that. Okay, so this is kind of the free space we got, right? That is the pattern. Because if we place something here, we of course will block it. But here will be fine. That means that we can use this space. Oh, like a fat plus sign. Yeah, exactly. So inside of there, I'll need to provide engine power and energy regeneration, basically, is the plan. So I guess we're gonna have electric engines, most likely. Just a ton of electric engines would be reasonable, and of course we'll need steam. Yeah, I think we're gonna use a steam electric system. So we're gonna set up some steam turbines to recharge them. I think this is gonna be very tight to put steam turbines inside, but we can do that. We could also run it on RTGs, but I think it's gonna be a little bit too little power, to be quite honest. So we can test basically how much we produce if we make a little prototype. So I'm just thinking, if we can use RTGs that can be smart for the task, it's never gonna see combat, it's just a testing platform. So right now we actually have a lot of power here, 400 for this little engine. But if we look at the power, it requires 400 energy per second, which is a lot more than we have. This is giving us 90, so the engine is a lot larger than it actually needs to be. I'm wondering if perhaps 90 energy like this. Do we have... Oh, look at that. Using 90 energy per second. So this is at an equilibrium where we have the same amount of energy regeneration as we have, well, energy use from this battery. That's pretty nice. Right, so I guess we're gonna have that as some type of system then. And this platform will be used for some testing of different kinds. So it would make sense to have both material storage and ammunition storage on it. So I guess we can just use this space for a material container and for a ammo container. So we have ammo, material, we got some RTGs, and we got 90 power for each. So I'm just gonna prefab this and put it all over the place, and we're gonna see what numbers we end up with. Right, so we have some progress here. You can see I added the propellers on top and below, and I filled in the area with some of my prefabs for detection. Just added a bunch of random detection here. We're gonna work over water and underwater. The reason we want to use propellers is because they work underwater and over water, and we also got some ion thrusters going around here. Now, there is one little thing here I thought about, that when I checked the propellers, their actually clearance is only 50%. So it seems that the ducts are blocking them somewhat, which is... I didn't know that. I thought they were completely open. But apparently they are not really completely open. I guess if we like cut this one off here and this one off here, we have like the same clearance. Yeah, it seems that the ducts are somewhat blocking the airflow. I thought they were completely open. So I'm gonna do my little test here, where we're going to put the sub object on top of this and make that a building board, and I'm gonna see if that will block them still, because if I remove this, we got a clearance of 75% instead, which obviously is a lot better. Yeah, so I wonder if we can like, oh yeah, that went absolutely fine. Well, how nice. Now you can see it in detail, by the way. Also, I added some turbines here to charge them up with electric, because obviously we didn't really fly. We can just replace all of these ducts with alloy instead, but if we do that, I fear that what we're going to use it for, which is test like a lot of melee weapons, is going to be pretty weak, because they rely on that we have some weight behind us as well. Well, in any case, I can just quickly show here about what we're gonna do. So thinking, like, what if we have a, say we have a piston here. We can remove it there, so we can have piston there. And then I'm thinking we are gonna have it like this. Excellent. Why is it like blocked here? It's really weird since it doesn't show. We could extend it then possibly if it does causes any type of issue. It's not the plan to do that, however. And on top of here, we're going to have this building board. And to make it, well, I think we're going to have it in metal. A little good middle between a heavy weight and oh, it kind of shakes like if it was a turret. That's weird. well, whatever. Now it's up to truth. How is it? Oh no! It's actually worse. Ah, it detects it. It knows we're in a sub-object. They so much fixed that. Okay, well, what happens if we extend this piston then? Are they still gonna kind of know where we're at? 20, what? They know. That's a bit annoying. Ah, well. That's not good. Well, there goes my plan. I guess I'll need to think some then. Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, this was a lot more complex than I had anticipated. I never thought it would be this difficult to fill out these PIDs to work properly. Like, I know for a fact that PIDs are always super tricky, but it was really difficult. I had to set the derivate time to a lot higher than I usually have. I had to develop some pretty unusual settings for me to make this thing work. Yeah, we have like an array and the setup for them. I thought that if I just keep them to automatic, it's gonna work and stuff. But as I usually revise myself when building, thinking that automatic would be some kind of solution, it's always worse than setting it up manually, basically. And all of these basically have different settings. It was so hard to make this a balanced type of setup. Now, I think I finally have succeeded. So for example, there are some differences, like some of them needs to be set to non-instantaneous and only pitch, and some of them need to be set to instantaneous, and it's just all really weird making this work. And it honestly feels like it barely does work. I'm not really sure why these are like... Yeah. It's weird. I kind of want them to be a little bit more adaptive. I wanted them to have a setting that would be possible to make all of them fire up and really work when they need to create a lift. But it seems that I'm unable to do this with this many control points. So, as said, we just have a load of different settings here. These one in the middle are set to non-instantaneous upwards, and that kind of generates a slow up force that's slowly adaptable together with our slow PIDs. The corner ones are just like instant pitch up and stuff like these, up and pitch just like them. And here on the side we have same up and right roll. So if I do like this, this is pure LED. You can see that when we added that, our instantaneous pitchers, they are slowly decreasing in force. And these pitchers, they are maxing out. And this instant one is adjusting the level as is needed together with that one. Yeah, so it is... it's a bit strange. It takes some time for it to adjust as well, so that's not like great. Put it to the side here. It is somewhat taking this load. Of course, this is a pretty extreme load at an uneven spot of the platform. But as I'm making this as a testing platform, I want it to be somewhat resilient to uneven load and stuff like that. I ended up going with the steam electric system as said, but I basically removed all the RTGs. We only have steam gens now. And then we have a setup here with ion thrusters that are set up to strafe. Basically like that. Very nice. Now, I do have a vehicle controller on this thing, and I would have liked it to perhaps be a complex controller only, but I need to set a complex controller up in that case to basically control the outputs. So I guess we should do that perhaps with a bunch of ACBs. Right now, we can strafe from left to right. It is a bit slow, but I like the ion thrusters because I like, in my opinion, the regular thrusters kind of sound too much. And it's not really built to be fast. And it's out of heavy armor, basically only heavy armor. So it is a bit sluggish to change speeds and stuff like that. But I feel, since we're gonna use it for some kinetic weapon testing, this is probably a good middle ground. I may want to add some propellers for directions, but yeah, I'm not sure. Let's spawn a jet engine, by the way, just to hear it. Maybe we can, yeah. They don't sound as much as I remember. It's probably the setting I have now too. But the thing is, the iron thrust gives a thrust of so much less than this. So perhaps we can exchange two of them like this. And we can just... Oh, wait. Now I swapped it with new ones. So if I take this setting here, or they're gonna be set as that as presets anyways, but I can just add a few in the front and a few in the back, maybe like this. And we should very much increase the force of this structure while also... That may be too much, will it not? We go... Yeah, that might be needed actually. I think this is a good setup. It will still work underwater, but not very good. But honestly, working underwater feels like a secondary setup. It's gonna be pretty rare I use it for that. I'm just gonna remove the visual effects from all of them when I'm done. Now, the strafers and turners here. This is now a turner. We're gonna set it as a strafer too. I'm gonna be a bit careful with adding too many of these strafers, because I know if we have a lot of these, it's gonna be pretty janky when turning potentially. But they are so strong. They are so much stronger. Oh my, why did I set it like that? Okay, strafer. And as said, remove all visual effects. Now we can just try with the arrow keys to strafe some left and right. Honestly, I feel I probably want to replace 2 more of them here, so I'm just gonna copy this. Yeah. Oh yeah, now this this pusher is now... Whoops. We're gonna do like this instead. Well, oh no, what? Yeah, we need to copy this one. Here we go. Right. So now when we go left and right, we're so much quicker like that. We can turn pretty quickly too. Break down, break it, not break down. Just elevate or go down a little bit, and the automatic should be keeping it back to level soon enough. Well, I'm sure that's going to be a reasonable setting to use then. Well, I think that's probably good. So now I'm just going to check in and dive in a little bit into the setup to potentially control it using a complex controller only, since we may want a complex controller in order to like activate our custom weapons, and we don't want to switch controllers like we did before. Alright, I think we got it here to set it up. I think we actually can remove the vehicle controller, because if we go in here, we can set the stim trigger W, and we can set this value, set the forwards thrust to 1. So that's like, that's beautiful. We're gonna copy that, and we're gonna do the little setup of controls. Well, we're just gonna keep them here. So this one is gonna be thrust forwards, and then this one below is gonna be thrust backwards, right? So we set this one to S instead. So if we go and click this, you can see it is activating briefly. So we can set it now. Oh, beautiful. And we just instantly go and select like forwards. We can see these are like instantly reacting to our commands like that. So that's super nice. So if we instead set A, we can set it to, let's see, I think we're gonna strafe left, most likely, wherever that is. Strafe left. Cool. And this then we can set to D as strafe right. Let's see if it works. I'm gonna move my hand over. So yeah, strafing this way. No. Strafe right to, oh crap, I need to set this up too. Like this. So now we can strafe right. I don't think it matters, but we could of course set this as a kind of negative. So if we set when interacting with D is pressed, so A is kind of a negative of this. So if we check this here, and if we set D, this is gonna be do nothing here. But if we press both of them, I don't know if it's gonna like help this out really. Probably, oh, wrong keys. I don't think it matters, to be honest. I don't think it matters. I'm just gonna confuse myself as I set these values in like different ways to make them reverse when they can't reverse anyway. So there is no need to check that. Right. So now we got A and D strafing. We can go forwards and backwards, and then we obviously need to have some turning. So if we set it to E, for example, we want it to turn to the right. So jaw right, no, jaw right set to 1 like this. And this thing can then be, oh no, this one Q, or not Q in my case, but jaw left. And then when I go over to Y and I, we can move around that indeed. Well, that's very nice. That is very nice. So now we have kind of a turner. We can go from side to side using strafe. We can also go backwards and forwards. It feels a bit sluggish when we're strafing, to be honest, but again, they're not reversing, so it's not that strange. We are gliding around some in the air, however, so I wonder if we should set it up in some way. Also, I'm thinking it could be pretty neat if we also were able to set the like elevation at different levels with using like R and F or O and L in my case. So I'm gonna see if I can set that up basically. Okay, so I was a little bit lazy here. It is possible to set it up. I could use a breadboard and stuff like that, but honestly, I'm just gonna make it real simple. So I'm setting the set point here. So if we click the G simulated key, we basically set it to altitude 1. If we go with the F key, we set it to 7 like we had as a preset. On R, we can go up to 30, so we're a little bit up in the air. And on P, we're gonna go high altitude ish, so it's set to the max, which is 50. So I think that is a reasonable array of different presets. So we got 4 altitude presets basically, and they're gonna be very easy to change if we set up the platform in a way. Of course, we can go even higher if you use the multiplier 2 of the value, but I didn't do that. Yeah, but that would be pretty easy too, so there are options. But I think that's gonna be pretty good enough. I'm sure this is gonna be a pretty decent test platform for like weapons of different kinds. Especially, of course, I'm thinking our melee weapons we are gonna test. So I guess I'm gonna save this and we're gonna do a little test of it. Up to test, it is saved. Can we put our scissors? It seemed to be able to take the weight. And now for the other test, can we move around with this thing? We can strafe, we can turn, and we can activate it. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay, so basically it seems to be working. I'm pretty happy with this. Okay, Now this is the non-automated like scissors, so it's a bit bad. So yeah, but just for the fun of it, let's just get in a crossbones here. We are in God mode, of course, but I just want to accelerate this this scissors like very quickly to the crossbones. Actually, we are. We need to be... okay, come on. I feel I kind of have the wrong wrong controls here. I'm so used at using VASD, and now I set it up a little bit to strafe a lot more. So I'm not really used to these strafing values. Oh my. Okay. Using the jaw like this. Maybe I need to swap these controls, but I don't know. There is a thought behind them though, so I'm thinking maybe I should get used to it and see if I learn it. All right, just like this. Activate. Look at that. And obviously we had pretty high speed, so we did 56,000 impact damage, as you can see, just from that little impact there. So basically, if we just ram this thing into it just like this, we are gonna do quite some damage, because, and that's another reason, like, we made it out of heavy armor. So why did we do that? Well, obviously, because if we have heavy armor, we're gonna do a lot more damage. Look at it, it's actually pretty effective. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. It's so much more effective now that we are on a so heavy platform. Well, that will be more for some Imperial testing, I think, but good to know. Good to know. So we're gonna do some testing on the GMODISM main channel then. Some Imperial testing, of course, because, well, we obviously need to make a better scissors. Well, thanks for watching, folks. This is your host, Eric of GMODISM, and I'll be seeing you in future videos on GMODIST channel right here and on GMODISM. And yes, I'm gonna go back and make some content for Real Access. I've been a bit slow with that. Anyways, this is your host, Eric. I'm signing out.